This is the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar for Friday, October 10th, 2025. And it is Yom Shishi, 6th day of the week, the 18th day of Tishrei. We're in the middle of Chol HaMoed of the holiday of Sukkot, Chag HaSukkot. And the Daf Yomi for today is Tractate Serachim, page number 26. And the quantum thought calendar is, the concept is to understand time in a gematriatic way, which is to say that as we move across the calendar, we calculate things, we calculate numbers based on the numbers of the calendar. And the numbers of the calendar are based on verses from the Bible. In Leviticus chapter 25, verse 20, it talks about the sabbatical year. And it talks about the amount of blessing that God will give, and in case people are worried that they won't have enough to eat during the 7th year, the 8th year, let's say, because they haven't reaped or sowed, as the verse says. I think it's what will we eat in the 7th year. I think that's what it is. But what the verse says is that after God gives an increase for 6th, 7th, and the 8th year, it says they'll be eating from the old crop until the 8th year, and then start planting in the 9th year. And those are the last two in the mentioned list, 8 and 9. And I don't know why, but those numbers caught my attention. And I thought about why would the Torah stop at 8 and 9? And I kept thinking about that in a very, I won't say obsessive way, but just in a continuous, persistent way. Let's put it that way. And it was so persistent that I felt that there is something to those two numbers together. 8 plus 9, 8 plus 9, 8 plus 9. And it can be developed into a sort of a calendar in that it's used as a tool to calculate not only time but data. And the method of calculation is through gematria, where every numerical value can be turned into a word. And if that's the case, all these numbers are words. And the skill, the art and the skill is in picking out the right words that are the values of the numbers. And let's just say the number 17. That's a small number; it's hard to imagine. Okay, number 179, let's say, has, say, I'm just taking a guess, 300 different sentences, 300 different words that 179 will equal in the English language. Say 179 has 358 different words that it equals. It has 358 different, say, 3-word phrases or 4-word phrases or expressions. The skill is picking out the right ones that equal 179 based on this context and this particular case. And there's many contexts and cases. Like 179 can be in the context of pricing. If it cost $179, then one would pick out, the skill would be to pick out the right set of phrases that you know based on the situation. And if you had a choice, and this number equaled this person's name or that person's name, and you had to choose between each person. If this amount equaled one of their two names, then that would be a good pointer that it might be good to go with the other person, the one whose name that it equaled. That's just an example, but that's the gematriatic way of thinking, that everything has a value and that words take shape and form based on, to say energy is a bit too general. Maybe it's the sounds come from logical structures, and those structures can be understood through gematria, through numbers. So that's what this is all about. So the way it works, the way it's used is that there's two. This is actually two calendars in one. This is a lunar calendar and a solar calendar, and the amount of boxes represent a 3-month period of time. It's 90 days, although the amount of visible boxes are 80. It's another reason why it's 89, because it's 8 and 9, 80 and 90. So once I found that this 8 and 9 that came from the verse, then maybe tens of other reasons came out just based on 8 and 9. What 89 actually is, and how it pertains to this calendar. For example, in English gematria, the word unity equals 89, and this is meant to unify, to reconcile and to unify. So that's just one example, but many other examples of 89. But it came from the initial, what might be called the Nikudat Chokhmah, that point of wisdom, that just flash of inspiration, and in that flash had many things that I had yet to learn after that. I didn't know at the time. But so 8 and 9 also, the color violet or lavender, just lighter purple, and the darker purple, those are 8 and 9 in the color sequence. Meaning, in my color sequence, it's my own thing, but maybe other people's too. But the number, every number from 1 to 10 has a color. Like one is white, and that I was in agreement with at least one other big mathematician on if you were to give numbers to colors to numbers, that that one should be white. Many people agree. Oh, not many. I haven't seen that many. I saw one of the top memorizers of pi. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure I remember this correctly. Is that this is someone named Daniel Tammet, and he memorized. He recited some 22,000 digits of pi by memory, by heart, in front of a panel of judges, and he developed a system of colors. And I remember that white was one, and I came at this before I even knew about Daniel Tammet, so I got some consensus with that white should be one. And I talked to other people who've done the same thing, and some of the colors vary. But at any rate, this color system puts white as one, but without going through that explanation, I can explain it at a different time. But light purple is 8, and dark purple is 9. So you have 89 here. So it's the PL-89. And the way I understood the 8 and 9 is also, I saw an actual purple, two-tone purple lock, and it was already, I didn't do it, I saw it already dialed, it was already dialed into the number 8 when I saw it, and I thought to turn it 9 notches. Of course, then I got 17. I turned another 8 notches, then I got 25. I turned 9 notches, and then I got 34. And then I turned 8 notches, and then I got 2. Why did I get 2? Because a combination lock stops at 40. It cuts off at 40, and that's exactly how this calendar is made. It goes 8 plus 9, and it cuts off at 40. And then it starts again. So 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 8 is 19, plus 9 is 28, and it goes the same way. And when does it get back to 8 again? It gets back to 8 when you hit 40, right? And so that makes it 2 40-day months. And it's a mem. It's based on a certain word that has 2 mems in it. But the final mem, in Hebrew there's a final mem, is actually placed at the beginning of the word. This is the only time in the entire Tanakh, to my knowledge, that the mem sofit, the final mem, is not at the end of the word. I mean, it's at the end of the word, but it's at the beginning of the word. Why would a final mem be put at the beginning of a word? It's a big mystery, no pun intended, mystery mem. But this word is misra. It's almost like mystery. It's in Isaiah, and it talks about the marbe misra, the increase of his government. I'm not exactly sure. I don't want to misquote it, but I know that it's there, and that's what these two mems refer to. So there's two. A mem is considered a month in this calendar, which is 40 days. So you have two 40-day months. Of course, you have that 40 days here, 40 days here. So that's 80. 8 columns and 10 rows. 80 days. 2 mems, 2 months, 2 mems. Mem is called a month. So mem 1, mem 2. And when it gets to 80, then under here, you can't see it, and neither can I, but it's an invisible 10-day period called the 10-day twilight period, which represents the 10 days between 80 and 90 that makes up a 3-month period. And each day is referred to as 10-day twilight 1, 10-day twilight 2, 10-day twilight 3, etc. until the end. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up until 10 here, and then there you have your 90 days. Or 89 days. So there's 89 again. See, it comes back. That theme comes back again. 89. Okay? So the planet Mercury is involved in this as well, and that's a whole other video. But I'll say it in brief, in short, that, and I'm going on data that's published, so, people have all kinds of arguments. I don't know how to say it other than whatever's published about the orbit of Mercury takes 88 of our days. That's what the encyclopedias say, that's what all the published data say, so that's what I based it on. But 88 is just about this time period. So this is a revolution of Mercury, and in the beginning I called it a Mercury year. This 3-month period, because there's 4 of these Mercury years and 1 of our Earth years. Okay, so that's important, but I stopped calling it for several reasons, but again, I'll go into that probably a different time. But at the end of the day, well, let's just move forward, okay, because of time. On the lunar calendar, today is, which is the Hebrew calendar, today is Tishrei 18. On the lunar calendar, the Islamic calendar is also the 18th, exactly, it's today. It's 18th day of Rabi al-Thani. So 23 is the box number, and the coordinate is F10 for this number today. And 23, so it would go like this. What happened today that has something to do with 23? I was thinking of something, I couldn't think of anything that was 23. Many days, it's really spot on. It's very, but today, and then there's the whole idea of the thought train, which is another long thing, and maybe I'll explain that at a different time as well. So 23. Here's one thing that came very clear. Today is Friday, and Friday equals 63, and 23 plus 40 is 63. Now, I didn't explain the whole rule of 40, but in this calendar, you can add 40 because of that 40 thing that I explained before. It's very 40 based. So many things of 40 that are in the Bible, and that are connected to those things, and so today happens to be Friday, and 23 plus 40 is 63, and 63 equals Friday if you do like the regular English gematria cipher. F equals 6 because A equals 1. Okay, F equals 6, R equals 18, I equals 9, D equals 4, A equals 1, Y equals 25. Add it together, 63. Okay, so Friday equals 63, so that's really neat. So that's how it's supposed to work. And then Yom Kippur was today, almost 10 days ago. It was 8 days ago. And when we were in Yom Kippur, obviously I didn't do this on Yom Kippur, but I did the video that I did for Yom Kippur. I was explaining that this box 35 is for any 10th day of the month. So on Yom Kippur, the one for Yom Kippur, I said when we get to October 10th, this box is going to be there too, because it was for 10th day, because Yom Kippur is the 10th day of Tishrei, but today's the 10th day of October. You see, it's the same. The calendar works the same for both lunar and solar. So, as far as 35, 75, 115, 155, 195, 235, 275. Oh, 275 came today. I made a payment of $275, and 275 would be a derivative of 35 based on the rule of the PL-89. So that's kind of interesting. 275, 315. Finished the first 315 digits of pi yesterday. I did the 318 today by heart. So that's interesting. That's a connection. And then there's the sliders. But that's a whole other thing. Okay, so 315, 355, 355. Okay, I'm thinking about it. Maybe I don't want to say it. Actually, 395, 395. All right, I think that's good for now. 435. 435 is Achya Hashiloni. 475 is Abu Seinu. 515 is Tefillah, Shira. 555 Avner Bener. 595 is his phone number and his phone number, the first three digits. 635, 675, 715 is Shtut. I think I'll stop there.